NBA players are perhaps the best generation we've ever seen, and to be fair, they have a large number of advantages compared to those early players or even player from the 90s and 90s. From home chefs and team-instructed nutrition to personal trainers and fully customized workouts to LeBron's hyperbaric chamber, NBA players are using modern sports science to the maximum. But some players want even more edge. With so many of today's players sharing similar physical gifts and skills, players are looking elsewhere to gain an advantage, but it can take a lot of hard work, determination, to gain that extra 1 or 5%. Lazier, or some would maybe even argue smarter players, find other means to gain an advantage over the competition. In layman's terms, this is also known as cheating, but some might call it gamesmanship or ultimate competitiveness. Whatever you call it, only you can be the judge. So, let's take a look at 10 times cheating was caught on live TV. Number 10. Phoenix Suns. DeAndre Ayton. When the Phoenix Suns used the first pick of the 2018 NBA Draft to choose DeAndre Ayton instead of Luka Doncic, many scratched their heads. But Ayton turned out to have a solid season at center for the young Suns, averaging 16 points and 10 rebounds per game. And with his teammate Devin Booker, the future was looking bright for the Suns. In the first game of the last season, Phoenix defeated the Sacramento Kings. Ayton leads the way with 18 points, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks, and a game-high plus 25. Soon after the game, it was announced that DeAndre violated the NBA's drug policy. He had been caught with a diuretic in his system, typically used as a masking agent for other performance-enhancing drugs. Well, whatever DeAndre was taking, he sure had a great game, but we think the 25-game suspension will encourage Ayton to be more careful about what he puts into his body. Number 9. Brooklyn Nets. Jason Kidd. Hit me. In 2013, those were the 2 words heard around the world of the NBA. Newly appointed head coach Jason Kidd was already off to a rough start, having been suspended for the first 2 games of the season for pleading guilty to a DWI. And with highly paid but rapidly aging superstars Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, the Nets were off to a start with a record of 4-10. In the fourth quarter against the Lakers, the game was all but gone for Kidd and Nets. And worse, there were only 8.3 seconds left, and Brooklyn was out of timeouts. Jody Meeks was at the free throw line when Kidd mouthed to Tyshawn Taylor to hit me. The second player charged into his head coach. Kidd animatedly spills his glass full of ice all over the court. The game was instantly halted for cleanup as expected. During this time, Coach Kidd drew up a 3-point play for Paul Pierce. Additionally, the stoppage in play could be seen as an attempt to ice the free throw shooter. However, Meeks made the second free throw. The Nets ran down the court and ran the play, and the truth clanked it off the rim. Brooklyn lost 99-94, falling to a record of 4-11. Despite losing, we applaud Jason Kidd for creativity and fast thinking. Come to think of it, that's the same way he played the game. Number 8. The Milwaukee Bucks. And we're back at the free throw line in the third quarter of a chippy game between the Houston Rockets and the Milwaukee Bucks. Andrew Bogut had the ball in the paint. Being the unstoppable force that he was, Houston chose to foul the center and make him earn 2 points at the line. In the commotion afterwards, Brandon Jennings stepped up to the line. The career 80% free throw shooter sank the first one. He was then getting into the shooting motion to sink the second one, before a ref ran in to wave off the first made free throw. Bogut was fouled. So why was Brandon Jennings at the line? Well, Andrew is a career 55% free throw shooter. The Bucks had pulled a fast one and almost gotten away with it. Bogut was forced to step up to the charity stripe. He missed both attempts, much to the chagrin of Milwaukee, but the Bucks got the last laugh, pulling away in the fourth quarter and winning on the road. Number 7. The Houston Rockets. Dwight Howard's time with the Houston Rockets had its ups and downs, but for the most part, it was quite forgettable. Attempting to pair the brute force of Dwight with James Harden's finesse game was a failed experiment, but there was one treasure of a moment Dwight gifted NBA fans everywhere. In a 2016 game against the Atlanta Hawks, forward Paul Millsap was at the line, while Dwight Howard was waiting to check in. While standing on the sideline, Howard was seen applying a spray to his hands from a can covered in white tape. After Millsap made the first free throw, Big Dwight checked back into the game. He grabbed the ball from the official. When Millsap got the ball back, he immediately knew something was off, stating later, "I've never felt a ball like that, ever. It was like super glue. It was the weirdest thing." The sticky substance? A can of Stickum. Unfortunately for Dwight and the Rockets, Stickum is illegal in the NBA. Besides the ref changing the ball and a sideline warning to Houston, a 109-97 loss was also handed to the Rockets for their efforts. Howard had been using Stickum for the past 5 years. We can only wonder if the sticky substance helped him shoot 2 for 7 in the loss. Number 6. Phoenix Suns. Jared Dudley. Jared Dudley's 15 seasons indicates a well-seasoned NBA journeyman. In that time, he has played for 8 different teams, and Jared is coming fresh off a championship with the Los Angeles Lakers. If you didn't realize he played for the Lakers, we won't hold it against you. Jared averaged a whopping 8 minutes a game this past season. At this point, Dudley is more of a locker room presence than anything. Not known for physical gifts or talent, but professional willingness. Willingness that was on full display in a game between the Phoenix Suns and the Lakers. Having already miraculously won a jump ball against the much more athletic Andrew Bynum earlier, the two Giants returned to the circle for another round. But this time, Dudley didn't even try to get the ball. Instead, he spun around and grabbed the ball after letting Bynum win the tip. Even the announcers knew this was illegal, but the refs seemed confused. Dudley and the Suns coolly pulled it off with no repercussions. Number 5. Manu Ginobili. It's truly rare when we can look at a single player who revolutionized the game. When Manu Ginobili was drafted by the San Antonio Spurs late in the second round of the 1999 draft, no one blinked an eye. An Argentine playing in Italy? Previous European-based players had mostly failed in the NBA. How would he be any different? And the Spurs had to wait 3 seasons for Manu to join them, but what an impact he made. So how did Manu change the game, raising the opportunity for more foreign players in the NBA? Not quite. The flop has been part of the game almost since its inception. Manu didn't invent the flop, but he crafted it into a fine art. On his notorious reputation, Manu claimed he didn't flop, but he had this to say: "If it helps the team to win, I'm ready to do it." Manu is a legendary flopper, but is he also a legendary cheater? You decide. Number 4. Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers. The 2013 NBA Eastern Conference definitely took place in a post-Manu NBA. After LeBron made the decision to take his talents to South Beach, many wondered if the Heat would really be able to win. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7 in total. But soon the Pacers would rise in the East as formidable opponents, if not to beat the Heat, to at least slow them down on their way to the finals. The games would get ugly and emotions were high, but Game 4 was a pure work of devotion. 2 NBA teams came together in a worship of the great Ginobili in the sky. The players had wings that day, but they were not playing on ice. Life and limb became celestial bodies defying the laws of physics. After the game, LeBron, David West, and the flopping connoisseur, Lance Stevenson, were all fined by the NBA for violating the league's cheating policy. Luckily for us, we can admire such performance art as often as we like on YouTube. Number 3. The San Antonio Spurs, Bruce Bowen. If you're under the age of 20, you'll be forgiven for wondering who the hell Bruce Bowen is. A journeyman in the first half of his career, Bowen eventually found a home as a role player for the San Antonio Spurs. Bruce became a vital piece of the Spurs' decade run of championships and finals appearances. Bruce was an early prototype of the 3 and D wing player. As a prototype, Bowen had added one other D besides defense: dirty. Yep, Bruce was as dirty as they come, and no doubt a valuable asset to those championship runs. Bowen's greatest threat was to severely invade the opposing shooter's landing space, wreaking all kinds of havoc on tendons, ligaments, and careers. The NBA even had to create a new rule because of this. Truly a revolutionary. Stay classy, Bruce. Number 2. Warriors, Zaza Pachulia. You can't place Zaza on this list without the great Bruce Bowen pioneering the way. But perhaps, Pachulia has one single incident more infamous than all of Bruce's dark tactics. In Game 1 of the 2017 Western Conference Finals, San Antonio was well on its way to an easy victory, and perhaps the series. That is until Zaza entered the game. Playing for one of the greatest teams in NBA history, many wondered what Zaza could offer the Warriors. His greatest assets were on full display as he slid underneath a Kawhi Leonard jump shot. Kawhi re-injured his ankle and was done for the series, and so were the Spurs. We hope that Zaza went home that night and prayed to Bruce Bowen, thanking him for the victory. Number 1. Warriors, Draymond Green. Well, being one of the best teams in NBA history won't get you to 5 straight NBA Finals all by itself. It takes an innovator to gain a competitive advantage, and Draymond Green was born to cheat the game. His ultimate gamesmanship has earned him a reputation as a winner and team player. But while beloved by Warriors fans, opposing fans view him as dirty, not happy with invading player landing space. Draymond pioneered the NBA karate kick. It's almost as if he thinks opposing players are in his space, famously getting away with a swift kick to Steven Adams' coin purse in the Western Conference Finals. But in the 2016 Finals, whilst on the ground, Dirty Dre opted for a fist to the groin of LeBron James. This time he wouldn't get away with it. He would miss the next game, and most likely cost the Warriors the series. Let's hope Draymond can keep his hands and feet to himself this upcoming season. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Gamesmanship or cheating? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you don't miss out on all of our latest content. See you next time.